performance appraisal, we are evaluating the performance of a particular individual. That may be a principal, vice principal, section head, teacher, or administrative officer, or an accountant, or a superintendent, or a security officer. We are trying to evaluate his performance. So, how would we go about doing it? We see different things. And number one is, what is his knowledge regarding the job which he or she is performing? Number one, having in knowledge is one thing. How well he or she is applying that knowledge? What is the quality of his application of knowledge? What is the quantity of his output? Now, I'll give you an example. Someone has done B.Ed or M.Ed, and in that he or she got grade A, alpha, or A plus. Means what? We have seen from his certificates that she has got excellent knowledge regarding teaching, right? Now, that is not sufficient. How well she has applied that knowledge and brought up the quality of the teaching learning process in his class, and hence brought up a good quality of output, that is good students output. They got good academic grades, their attitude and their skills have developed very well. So knowledge plus application of the knowledge. Then how he or she is taking initiative. Does she has initiative, or when she's asked some job to be done, then she does that job? Then does that person, vice principal, section head, teacher, administrator, security officer, clerk, superintendent, is he has the leadership qualities, that he is knowledgeable, he does his work well, but can he get the work done? Can he get the work done? So how good he has leadership qualities, then his abilities, then how well she can supervise others doing the job, how much he or she is dependable. As a principal, I would only give a task to someone who's dependable, because if he's not dependable, he would goof up the job, and then hence he would let me down also. So, and is he cooperative? Well, he may be good, knowledgeable person, but may not be cooperative. So his sense of judgment, his versatility, can he do one single job, or he can do several jobs as good as the first one? And how is about his personal health? So that all would come under the performance. So objectives of performance appraisal would be promotions and confirmation. Confirmation is that once you have been selected, you have a period of 1 year or 2 years of confirmation. And before confirmation, obviously, that is required that you have a proper performance appraiser. Then for training and development, future training and development, you should have a performance appraiser. Then competency building, to ensure that people have got minimum competency level. So we carry out performance appraisal. Then another objective of performance appraisal is that this is a sort of communication between the boss and the subordinate. This is a formal way of communication, that you are formally in writing being told that here you are. Evaluation of human resource programs, then whatever human resource programs we have initiated, we would like to see whether they were good enough or not. So feedback and grievance, the one who is appraised, he is told that here he stands. Now here is a chart which tell you the performance appraisal methods. There are two main groups of performance appraisal methods. One is a group where traditional methods are mentioned. The second is a group where modern methods are mentioned. Traditional methods, modern methods. Traditional methods mean they are being used since several hundred years by different organizations. And modern method, of course, in the latest times, these methods have come into use. Traditional methods of performance appraisal emphasize the rating of individual traits. The traditional methods emphasize on what? They emphasize on the individual traits of the employees, such as how much initiative he has, his dependability, his drive, his creativity, his integrity, his intelligence, his leadership potential, etc. On the other hand, modern methods are more inclined toward job achievement. The latest method, the modern methods, they are more concerned what you have produced. What was your product? What were the targets given and how much you have achieved them? That is the main difference between traditional and modern methods. Now, some of the traditional methods which have been in use, and even now they are being used in some organizations. This traditional form of appraisal, that is essay appraisal method, describes the performance of employee by his superior in a pen picture type, essay type. The description is an evaluation of the performance of any individual based on the facts and often includes examples and evidences to support the information. A major drawback of the method is the inseparability of bias of the evaluator. Now, somebody is describing your personality. So, while describing number one, we expect him to be good at that language which he is using, so that he knows what is the difference between good, excellent, for instance, good and excellent, fair and good, fair, good, excellent. What is the difference between these words? And then number two is that while using those words, if he knows the real meaning of those words, then he should not be biased also. If this, someone is excellent and you say, yes, his performance was fair, uh, that if the bias creeps in, well, the appraisal would not be satisfactory. State ranking method. This is one of the oldest and simplest technique. And what happens in this technique? The appraiser ranks the employees from best to poorest. Rank, as the name suggests, straight ranking method. Ranks from best to the poorest on the basis of their overall performance. So, well, you can always say that it's good for comparison base. He is below average. He is average, he's above average, he's well above average, he's excellent, he's outstanding. So ranking is done. Then paired comparison. Another technique is that it compares each employee with other employee in the group one at a time. Each employee with another employee one at a time. So after making comparisons, then the final ranking is drawn. Fourth is critical incidents method. Now, in this method, the evaluator rates the employee on the basis of critical events. Critical events means some events which were taking place. For instance, on sports day, what was the performance of different employees? How well they managed the function? How they were helpful? What standard they were maintained? If somebody was made in charge of arranging the refreshment for the guests, well, critical event. And then rating on the basis of critical event performance is evaluated. It includes both negative and positive points. So the drawbacks of this method is that the superior has to note down the critical incidents and the employee behavior as when they occur. Next is field review. Now, this is in this method, a senior member of the HR team discusses and interviews the supervisors to evaluate and rate the respective subordinates. One member, experienced member, who is good at his job, knows his job well, goes to the supervisors, asks questions regarding the performance of his subordinates, and then rate them. This is field review method. A major drawback of this method is that it is very time consuming. But the method helps to reduce the superior's personal bias. Then checklist method. Here is another method, and in this, the rater is given a checklist. Tick, 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 tick. You have to take it. Checklist of descriptive behavior of employee on the job. The checklist contains a list of statements on the basis of which rater describes the on-the-job performance of the employee. Then a graphic rating scale. In this method, an employee and a quantity of work is assessed in a graphic scale on a particular graph, indicating degrees of particular trait. On a graph, this is plotted. The factors taken into consideration include both personal characteristics and characteristics relating to the job. For example, a trait like job knowledge may be judged on the range of average, above average, outstanding, and unsatisfactory. Then force distribution. This is a statistical tool which is used for evaluation. The evaluator is asked to distribute the employees on some fixed categories of rating, like a normal distribution curve. This normal distribution curve, if you have studied statistics, you may be aware of. The rater chooses the appropriate fit for the categories on his own discretion, where on that distribution curve someone fits in. Now let's talk about the modern methods of performance appraisal. The modern methods of performance appraisal are assessment centers. Now, this is, as I said, modern method. In this method, the employees are given an assignment similar to the job they would be expected to perform if promoted. They are employees are sent to an assessment center, and they are, for instance, they are teachers. They are sent to the center and they are asked to deliver a lecture. Similar job they have been performing. So there's a team sitting there, professionals, and those professionals they are unbiased and they observe and evaluate. Then behaviorally anchored rating scales. This combines the graphic rating and critical incident methods we talked about in traditional setting. So it consists of predetermined critical areas of job performed or sets of behavior statements. In this method, an employee actual job behavior is judged against the desired behavior. And human resource accounting method. Human resources are valuable assets for every organization. Human resources method is tries to find the relative worth of these assets in terms of money. Now, the judge implies a judge in terms of cost and contribution to the employee. Now, this is very, I would say, business-like method. This much we spent on you. This much you have given us the revenue. So how much spent on you in forms of salary, fringe benefits, and this much you have produced of that to us. That means in form of the product. So that is purely, surely, that is the business-like approach. So the cost implies includes, as I just said, all the expenses incurred on them. And similarly, the difference between the cost and the contribution will be performance of the employee. Then 360-degree performance appraisal method. What is this 360-degree appraisal method? In this 360-degree feedback, also known as multi-rater feedback, is the most comprehensive appraisal where the feedback about the employees, as it is mentioned, 360-degree all around. So 360-degree appraisal has at least 4 components. Individual is asked to have your own self-appraisal. Then superior appraisal is also sought. Whoever who is his boss, his appraisal is sought. Then the appraisal of the juniors is sought. That was your boss. Then the appraisal of the colleagues is sought. So if the teachers is appraisal is being done, first the teacher would be asked to have self-appraisal. Then his principal would be asked about him. Then the students would be asked about the teacher, and then the colleagues. Management by objectives. This is the 5th approach, and it in this approach the we see how far the objectives have been achieved. So if we want to have a real scientific assessment, then we need to have specific objectives, measurable objectives, achievable objectives, and realistic and time-bound objectives. And then only it's possible. And qualities of good appraisal is it is factual, it is fair, it describes a whole period, and it describes the whole job, and it has no surprises. Everybody knows that I was expected to do